Right, it's question 4, question all about chromatography. So we've got this setup here that students made, but the students made 2 mistakes when setting it up. First thing to notice is whilst also identifying the mistakes, we've got to explain why they are mistakes, hence why it's 4 marks for 2 different points. So first mistake I've noticed is that the baseline has been drawn in ink. So baseline drawn in ink. The reason why this is a mistake is because ink is soluble in water, so will actually travel up the paper as well and contaminate the results of the inks that we're trying to investigate using chromatography. So this ink will travel up the paper and contaminate the results. So that's the first mistake. Second mistake, you can see here that the level of the water is actually sitting above the level of the baseline. So the water is above the baseline. Now remember, I said just before that ink is soluble in water. So if that ink is sitting in water, what's going to happen is the ink is just going to bleach out or leak out into the water and not actually travel up the chromatography paper as we want it to. So the reason we don't want that is our inks will leak into the water instead of going up the chromatography paper. Okay, moving on. So this is a set of results which we might get from some chromatography. So we're looking first at D. How many colors does ink D contain? Well, we can count the number of dots it's separated into. So 1, 2, 3. State which of the inks tested could be mixed together to make ink D. So we need a set of inks that includes all 3 of these inks that D has. And so that would mean combining these 2 inks from B and this ink from A. So the correct answer is A and B. And finally, explain which of the inks tested is insoluble in water. The correct answer is C, but we've got to explain why. Well, you can see that C has stayed on the baseline and not travelled up the paper. Again, that tells us it's insoluble. So the reason C is shown to be insoluble is that the ink does not separate and travel up the paper.